Mark, you are my only attendee.
Learn.
Mark, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
There you go. I've promoted you to a panelist.
Uh-oh.
These are sometimes 10 people, sometimes none. Mark, you are my only attendee. Oh, why am I getting a playback like that? Interesting.
Like I said, you might have missed it. I was intending just to sort of lurk in the background and polish my silver and clean my Venetian blinds while listening to you, hoping I would pick up some nuggets of wisdom.
Mark, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
There you go. I've promoted you to a panelist. Okay, now that's weird. I think these are sometimes 10 people, sometimes none. Mark, you are my only. There we go.
Oh my God. It went to the moon and back.
We were live streaming, and I think that was YouTube. That was the buffer on YouTube. So I just did it. Well, Mark, I'd be glad to go through the demo.
Okay.
Okay, Sue, if you want to sit through this, you're welcome to.
Are we seriously? Is it just the three of us?
It's just the three of us.
Woo.
Well, do we have anything that we need to say to each other?
I love you, Mark.
So you could sign off now.
Okay, wow. I think George's blood sugar is dropping. We shouldn't be doing
this. Is there anything you make us the bride?
Well, I talked with Mark already today, so we're all set with his AEG thing. We're gonna do round one of onboarding on Friday. So
great.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm cool. I got lots of stuff to do. So if we don't have any, are you going to hang out for a little while or?
I'm going to, I'm going to walk Mark through the demo and that's easy.
Okay. Right? We can go at twice normal speed too.
Yeah. I'm going to sign off because I got a bunch of stuff to do, but good chatting with you again.
Yes.
Mark, always a pleasure. Have fun.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. So do you want me to editorialize or do you want me to just hammer through this?
You can just zip through and where you think there's something new and I'll let you. Now, have I seen this before? Is this in the resource section?
Hey, Sue, is this deck in the resource section? It should be.
Okay.
And I'd be glad to send it to you, Mark.
Okay. It sort of looks familiar. That's why.
So, well, what you have is it has the notes. Let me see. How do I new share? If I do desktop one, you see it, you have these notes.
Yep.
And this is actually sort of the script. This is from our persuasive document.
Oh, God, I didn't know you could scroll on the presenter's view. I was always trying to, reduce it to, hieroglyphics so I could fit it all on the screen.
Nope, you can scroll. So okay. So the problem that we're trying to, the problem that CoreValue sets out to solve is to answer some fundamental questions. Show you what consulting area to move into. Do it in a way that maintains your expertise, your credibility with your clients. Shows you how to find new clients because having a new service is important, but finding new clients to whom to sell it is more so. And to identify the best way for you to help those clients.
So I just, since I'm famous for unsolicited advice, go back a page and consider just changing it to, I don't know what consulting area to move in. I know it adds a little bit, but it personalizes it.
I get it. That's a good idea.
So
yep. I like it.
Implicitly it's there, but when I'm reading it, I go, I don't know. Yep, that's me. I don't know. Yep, that's me too.
Don't worry about maintaining expertise and credibility. I don't know how to. I love that. Thank you.
Or you can put it into, I don't know, or I want to know, something like that, and then put sub bullets underneath and go, yeah. I can get all those, and then it's not in two blocks.
Yep.
It's all in one, and they can literally scan their way down the single line. Yeah,
cool.
Just a thought.
No, that's a good thought. Let me get rid of this, make my life easier. Okay. Well, the fact that I forgot I had a webinar, I didn't shave now today doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter. Mark just doesn't care. So your alternatives to invest billable hours, potentially billable hours to create a system from scratch, or do what some people decide to do, which is to continue to focus on their traditional services, but they're not serving the whole client. They're leaving revenue options on the table, and they're leaving themselves open to being disappointed from that customer. So the big question is, how do you start or standardize a business consulting practice using the best methodology to generate the best client results, be able to teach everyone at your firm how to do it, teach your referral network, scale your consulting services, market your new practice, and do it and get set up and running quickly at a price that's within reach. That's really a one client payback. And CoreValue will help you get there. Let me help you place CoreValue in the universe. We're the market leader in value growth software. It's a methodology that was born at MIT over 30 years ago. It's been used with over 10,000 countries with aggregate revenues over $200 billion. And the executable growth plan has been used to increase company value by over $7 billion. We're patented and we're used by a lot of the prominent players in this space. American City Business Journals, the National Institute of Standards and Technology. The NACBA promotes CoreValue to its members, and the NACBA issues about 80% of the business valuator credentials in the United States. They promote CoreValue to their members because CoreValue makes value actionable. We also just were awarded the Accounting Today Top New Advisory Product for 2018, and we're pretty excited about that. So you can think
what's the scoop with American City Business Journals?
Nothing. There's nothing going on there. Okay. I mean, we're just we're just barbling along in the background.
Right. So I had a conversation. I was on Executive Leaders Radios with James McDonald, and he said, "Oh yeah, And I said, "Oh yeah, we went through this thing with Jason Sauls." He goes, "Oh yeah, I talked to Jason. I remember that. That was an interesting product." I said, "What happened?" And I said, "I don't think with all due respect, it wasn't prepped correctly. It was just sort of thrown out there to people." And he said, "Well, let's talk about that." So I think it's in sometimes in mid-April or May. He said, "Circle back around," and he just linked with me on LinkedIn. So I think I'm going to poke him now.
Great.
And see if there's an opportunity to re-engage.
And Mark, the thing we should be doing is talking to them about, business owners don't care about the value of their business. Right? They don't wake up in the middle of the night and worry about it. What they do wake up in the middle of the night and worry about is being able to hire the right people, being able to make payroll, grow revenues, outpace the competition, generate additional cash flow so they can get their kid into college. Those are the things they worry about. And so we need to talk where the business journals went sideways is they really kept insisting on thumping the value, grow the value of your business. And even when we were saying, that's great, that's a nice message. I know it's in our name, but it's really not what your readers care about. They didn't want to hear about it.
I always say that you can't start your video because the host has stopped. It will be that way.
What happened?
I always use the characterization. It's like you've got if a quarter of your value is missing, it's like you've got two spark plugs missing on your V8. Yeah, it kind of runs and it gets there. And if you're not paying attention to the noise, you don't smell the burning oil, and you don't really see that you're tearing up the insides of your car. It's not about the valuation. It's about your operating inefficiencies, and that diminishes your ability to attract talent, capital, partners, customers, etc.
You should be able to turn on your video, by the way.
That's what's happening.
You should be able to turn on your video, Mark.
You can't start your video because the host has stopped it. Well, okay.
Really? Well, I've just made you a co-host. Try one more time. There he is.
All right.
Mr. Haas.
Okay.
By the way, I told Luke the story of you pulling onto the campus of Washington College and seeing the stars and bars and saying, not so much.
Right.
And we laughed about that. But I got to say, we pulled out he's going to go to Union.
Okay.
And we
Good.
pulled out of Washington, and he's like, it's just aren't my people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was.
It's a nice campus. Here, the academics are good, but it's amazing. Several thousand colleges in the country, and there's a dozen that are perfect for you.
Yeah. And Union is perfect for Luke, and I knew that. I know that I knew that, but I couldn't. You've been through this, right? I couldn't tell anybody it's not even worth driving down there. He had to see it for himself, experience it for himself, and needless to say, what I knew? At the end of the Union Day, he had just walked around the Centennial League. Washington College plays in the Centennial League, and in D3, it is the strongest league on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Union is in the Liberty League, which is one of the other. It's not the strongest, and Union won 2 games last season in the Liberty League. So Luke goes from having a rostered spot and really being recruited hard, and he would get some minutes even as a freshman by a Centennial League school, to having you can come out to preseason. I think there's a good chance you'll make the team at a Liberty League school that's losing games.
Right.
And but the good news is that Union did a good job of just we walked at the end of the day. We walked into the school bookstore. And he's just loading me up. He's like, I want a hat, and I want a T-shirt, and I want some
I love it.
Oh, look, they've got a Union bow tie. I'll take one of those. I want some sweats. I want some shorts. I parted with hundreds of dollars.
Right.
But I'm like, yeah, take more. Would you like to pick Union sheets for your bed that's in the dorm down the hill here?
Okay, that's fine.
We finished up at Washington College, and we went into the school bookstore, and he kind of walked around, and he's just kind of poking. And then I was like, good. All right. This tells me all I needed to go. And he ended up getting a pair of shorts because we were there.
Yes.
He wasn't all fired up and getting swag. And so.
I have to tell you a quick story about we sort of made this southern tour of schools for my son. This is the one who's like, he's pound for pound, he's the smartest person I've ever met. And we go to UVA, and his comment was, he leans over and goes, "The girls are really awesome here." I'm like, okay, that's fun.
Luke may have made a similar comment at Union.
And it's true. As I said, yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, I'm not dead, so I'm not dead.
But we got to Duke, and it was so funny because he gets in there. We go to the session with all the people, and they bring out the students, and Ethan's giving a running commentary. He says, "Oh my God, this Howie from New Jersey. Howie is this sort of curly-haired, typical suburban Jersey Jewish kid." He goes, "Howie has never caught a ball." And it was a stereotypical.
That is so funny.
And then the next woman, I'm a triple major in neurobiology, quantum physics, and something else. He leans over and goes, "She has never seen the sun," because she's like platinum blonde, pasty face like that. And he goes, and all they did was talk about how, academically excellent they were. And he said, "I'm out of here. This is too obnoxious for me." Didn't even take the tour.
Wow. That's how Jack did that at Penn. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not going here."
And Penn was at Penn. We went to the thing at Penn. We kind of walked around a little bit, and they said, "Okay, how many of you were the person that when it came time to do the team project ended up doing it all?" All the hands will go up. And Ethan goes, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing this either." I don't need to be hanging out with these people.
Yeah,
okay.
That's funny.
Proceed.
All right. So you've seen this slide.
Yep.
And then this is, I'm going to show you the 6 main reasons to consider CoreValue. It's like a consulting practice in a box: best methodology, best results, easiest to use, best support, the 18 value drivers. You've seen.
And I don't find that slide compelling.
This slide?
The one before. You sort of made the point before.
Got it.
So
this comes from Ted. We've gone from rarely closing people in the demo to often closing people in the demo.
Okay.
I liked your first idea. I'm not getting rid of this slide.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying, and maybe it's because I've seen the pitch before.
You've seen it so many times, I know. Don't need to belabor that. We have the most consulting tools. But I talk about the methodology, and then I say we apply the methodology at 2 levels of analysis, and then we generate an executable growth plan. It's a standardized holistic process, including the methodology. It's also a standardized holistic process. You think in terms of working with your colleagues, your referral network, and potentially having all of the pros in your firm help you generate leads for the business consulting practice.
So one thing I'll just, as they occur to me, on the previous slide, I got the sense as I was looking at it that, oh, this is just a tool. I'm going to apply the tool. This is almost a platform for you to sort of unlock your own consulting skills.
Yes.
As opposed to just anybody could apply this tool. Well, person A applying it is much better than person B. Same tool. It's what you bring to it.
And you've got the scars to prove it. Discover, report, immediately deliver to your client, assess, unlock more detailed reports over which you have control. Let me show you how we generate the best results. We talk through long-term client, using it as a basis for generating long-term client engagements, the ROI for hiring you. I tell a story about how, about how people are able to predict the value that the project will have, and how we hear back, and we do hear back often with that it's much easier to have the fee conversation when it's in terms of generating, doubling the value of the business.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy to use. It's in plain English, no financial jargon, and it's a lead machine. It's a lead machine at a micro level when you're getting the name, title, phone number, contact information, and analysis of 18 data points, 1 question on each of the 18 value drivers. It's also a lead machine on a macro level. When you've used it with 1, 5, 50 prospects, you're able to see trends within those prospects, identify areas where you could increase your practice, and potentially put on marketing events such as webinars.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy to use. The way that we apply the methodology is to state the value driver, the best practice as a question, and ask the business owner to assess themselves. Do you have any questions before I go into the product? And then I go through Discover, which we won't do if you'd like to.
No.
We won't do today. And then I say, okay, well, the one thing I will say about Discover, when I'm showing it to, wow, and I was going to have Janet Strom. What I will say, let's just jump into, hello. Thank you. I don't know who Tim Dieters, I know who Tim Dieters is. When we look at when we go into the Discover report, what I do is I immediately say, I know it's tempting to, we're conditioned to look at the dollars, but the most important thing that we calculate is the CoreValue business rating, and that's a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. These gray bars that you see are the market at large, and this blue bar, forget the height. You look at it from left to right. This is the range that Acme Manufacturing has, the range of rating that they'll have. So you'll see that there's somewhere between a 5.8 and a 6.8. So they're approximately a 6. And what impact does being a 6 versus a 0 or a 10 have on the value of the business? Well, if this business was able to get the top end multiple, if it was one of the best run companies in the space, they could get 19.2 million. And then so first I focus on the rating, and I literally scroll the dollars out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I come back and explain, because that is the best order.
Right.
And I talk about the value gap as discounts. Then I talk about the top 2 value drivers. Then I talk about benchmarking, and then I leave it. And I will say, and they've heard themselves say, and based on the answers they've provided, and don't forget the CEO has heard herself say for 1, 5, 15 of the value drivers that they are not top of the charts in that area, which is important psychologically when you tell them that they are actually operating below their peers in these 3 areas. And what you're going to say at the end of the Discover report is you're going to ask them, did you learn anything new about your business today? And when they tell you what it is, say, great. Well, is knowing that valuable? And when they tell you that it is valuable, you're going to say, well, I agree with you. And I think I recommend that we do a deep dive analysis. I charge $4,500 for the deep dive analysis. We'll spend 2 hours together going through a much more detailed version of what we discussed today. And based on that, I will generate an operational strength and value report. I will sit down with you and explain that report, review that report with you, and make some recommendations on areas on which you can focus to start increasing the strength of your business. And by the way, companies that put in place the best practices that are recommended by CoreValue see their gross revenues increase by double digits. Would you like to do that? And so now we're asking for the paid engagement, and I literally walk people through. I role play a little bit, walk them through doing it, and that resonates with them.
So the gray bars in the business rating, are those for all businesses or just manufacturing?
This is all at the rating. It's all businesses. This is the market at large.
Okay.
When we get down here into the value drivers, it is just manufacturing.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay. Then I jump back into, so let me talk, once you move them into Unlock asks an additional 3 to 10 questions of each of the 18 value drivers. For example, growth, you remember this question from Discover? Well, in Unlock, there are 3 additional questions, one on company growth, industry growth, and customer advantage. And I'll show you how we start to quantify, how to start to challenge their assumptions. So you'll see this is the same question. And the range of answers is yes, and we have supporting documentation, right? If they're actually can demonstrate quantifiable and historic growth greater than their competitors, they need to know who their competitors are and how, what their revenues, how their competitors are growing. And they need to understand the industry and the industry's rate of growth. So do they have supporting documentation? And if you put on your hat of an acquirer, of an investor, if you put on the market's hat, the market is going to want to see that documentation. Does that make sense? Yes, it makes sense. Okay. Whoops, I actually just clicked on the wrong thing. And then I go through industry growth. So, show a couple of questions. And then financial, I always show financial because so many of our people are involved in financial, whether they're CPAs or financial advisors or even management consultants. They're going to focus right in on finance, but there are 8 drivers, and I talk about these a little bit. So, and then I recap. Oh, that's not true, Mark. I then say, and let me show you, let me walk you through some of the reports we generate in some of the reports we generate. So I'm going to click on Advisor Dashboard to go back to my dashboard, and I'm going to open up for you a demo company. This is not a real company, so I'm comfortable sharing the information with you. And let me click on, here's the dashboard for this client, and I'm going to click on reports, and I'm going to click on value gap analysis. Now, this company has a value gap of $5.5 million, and the top 5 contributors to the value gap, on average in the system, make up half of the value gap, so $2.7 million in this case. And the top 5 value drivers here are financial, operations, product differentiation, margin advantage, and barriers to entry. And if you think in terms of a business that's actually thinking about a transaction, these are the areas that you're going to want to prioritize for them. What else would we prioritize? Well, there's a workbook that has 276 tasks. Now, you're not going to complete these 276 tasks with your client, but this is the range of tasks in all these areas. And when you're going to move this box, and if I look at the tasks, I can prioritize them in a couple of different ways, and the system will help you do that. Now, you're going to bring your understanding of the client and of the client's goals to the table. But if we're trying to generate some early wins, I'm going to click on bang for the buck and start and sort these by bang for the buck. And that simply means that the 4 firecrackers, 4 sticks of dynamite, means that that's going to be one of the easiest, least time-consuming, least costly, least disruptive to implement. If I sort them by, for example, by a contribution to the value gap, I'll be able to say which of these are the most valuable, so that if we implement them, and maybe I can recommend to the client that we're going to take down, work on product differentiation, customer mix. Let's look at some of these that are relatively easy to implement, and that that move the needle on the value of the company, so that you're going to be able to show the value of engaging with you. Does that make sense? Yes, it makes sense. And I move through this. What we're trying not to do, there's a difference between a demo and a sales training, and we do not want to slide into training land. So I don't even ask them if they have questions. Some people do. I'd say 50% of the time they have questions, and then I jump right back in. So to recap, you'll remember that we did some benchmarking in that initial report. We showed the value of the company, the risks to that value, and importantly, the value gap, don't forget, is the return on investment for hiring you. So it puts your fee in the proper context. In this company's, in the instance of this company, there's $5 to $9 million that's at risk, and by hiring you, you're gonna move that from at risk into the theoretical value of the company. We benchmark them against their peers. We show threats. We show threats in the form of red flags. And again, those top 3 areas have been highlighted. Let's talk about, we just covered a lot of ground. How do we get you comfortable with integrating CoreValue into your practice? We have the best support. Let me explain why. Then I talk about orientation on the one-on-one onboarding that's available for CoreValue Unlimited clients, and the Build a Thriving Consulting practice that's presented in conjunction with the NACBA. And that support, and part of what we do, moving the levers inside the software is relatively easy. We spend some time helping you prepare to use the report writer, but we spend a lot of time helping you integrate the marketing materials that we put at your disposal into your marketing plan. And those include brochures, testimonials, agreements, a sales manual. All of these materials are written in a way that are going to put you in a position of saying, hi, instead of saying, hi, I'm Mark Haas and I use CoreValue, you're going to be able to say, hi, I'm Mark Haas and I specialize in doing operational analysis. I use a methodology that was born at MIT, that's been used with over 10,000 companies. And in fact, is a methodology that is a proven track record of increasing gross revenues by double digits when it's implemented. Now, it's a very different, you hear the difference in that in how you're positioning yourself. Yes, I do. You have any questions about the marketing kit? All of this is white labeled. So all of this is either we will help you put your logo at the top of these and use them as whole cloth, or we'll help you pull them apart and integrate them into your existing marketing materials. Let's talk about price for a moment. CoreValue is very easy to buy. We have the lowest price per advisor. And in fact, I think of it as a one client recovery. If you think about the lifetime value of a client, and I have them for that picture, you'll see that by winning a single client, and we promise you will win clients using CoreValue, you're going to recover your investment in the system. And CoreValue Pro is an a la carte or self-service model. It's $995 per year. You get unlimited use of Discover to generate leads, to open that business consulting conversation. And then when you move someone into Unlock, it's $495 per client per year. You can also attend the Build a Thriving Consulting practice training for $720. Now with CoreValue Unlimited, that's an all-inclusive full service bundle. It's $2,950. And that includes unlimited use of Discover. It also includes unlimited use of Unlock, deep dive analysis, and executable growth plan. And it includes the $720 Build a Thriving practice training. It also includes one-on-one onboarding, which takes place over 4 to 8 weeks. Frankly, it's as long as you need it to be. And in onboarding, what we'll do is we have a customer success professional work with you. They've worked with hundreds of advisors on thousands of cases, and they're going to work with you integrating the marketing kit into your practice, being completely comfortable and confident using CoreValue with your clients. Coaching you through those first few engagements. So I think of CoreValue Unlimited as a 2-client break point. You take $995 from Pro $495 for 2 clients. The $720 for practice. We're at about $2,700. For $2,950, you're not only saving money from your third client on, you're capping your costs for the year. Does that make sense? Yes, it makes sense.
Yes, George.
Yes, I'm getting them sales psychology, getting people to make sense. I changed this. Anyhow, we've done an exhaustive analysis of CoreValue against the competition, and I'm very confident that we offer more features, more benefits at a better price than anyone in the market. Let me tell you a few of the frequently asked questions. How do you recap how I use these as placeholders. Do you have any additional questions? Typically it's no. You'll notice that I'm not offering a test drive anywhere here.
Mm-hmm.
Test drive was an offering, Mark. The test drive was not allowing people. I mean, we're happy to do it if someone asks for it, but by offering it every time, we were kidding. Well, I haven't had time to get to it. I got confused. I lost the link. And finally one day, and it was only a few months ago, I'm like, let's just stop doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Microsoft never gave me a test drive.
Right. So,
and I linger on this testimonials page. I don't read them. I just linger on it. Ask them if they have any questions. And then I say, where we want to get you and where we promise to get you is winning new engagements, showing the clients the value of working with you, and increasing your effectiveness, the number of engagements, the depth of those engagements that you're generating with your clients. Now, this happens to be the webinar. I would potentially send people to do test drive. What I really want them to do is sign up I'm going to change this slide, sign up for a one-on-one conversation. And then, I get into next steps. And this is literally where I ask them for their credit card. And it's been working, 1 in 4 will say, yeah, I'll do it right now. I will say that it's helped us compress our close time. And half the people who go through this demo one-on-one buy the system.
So next steps. In terms of a call to action,
yep.
Steps sounds sort of halfway there. It's kind of like it's more intellectual rather than what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
I don't have any specific recommendations, but the thing is, get started or take action or something like that with a verb in it. The thought.
So let me open up let's see here. I should have this one.
Or something like you could have a new client, within a week or something like that.
Yeah, I like that. I got rid of that old picture steps. So instead of next steps, it's getting started. I like that.
Or get started. Just sort of give them a nudge.
So this is my normal. If I was doing a one-on-one demo, this is the slide I would use. Have you answered all of your questions? And also I train our sales, Sue and Chris, and we've had a couple of others, Davio and Julaine. Always ask questions that can be answered in the affirmative.
Mm-hmm.
Not do you have any more questions? Have I answered all of your questions?
Right.
So I've answered all of your questions. Registering for the license is easy. In fact, I'd be glad to help if you have a credit card you'd like to use. I can jot it down and register for you. You'll get a confirmation email, and we can get your orientation scheduled right away.
Mm-hmm.
And
so how do you capture people who are not really sure right now, but might be in a week? Is there a follow-up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if you said to me, well, I'm not ready right now, and I would say, of course, Mark, I understand, and you need some time to think through what we've discussed today. How about this? Let's schedule a meeting next week, and I'm going to email you the Build a Thriving Practice white paper, or if you already have that, I'm going to email you the 5 steps. One of the white papers that we give you to use to win new engagements. And why don't we talk, how does your next Thursday look? And but before we leave this meeting, you're either paying me or scheduling another meeting.
Yep, good.
And it's good. I need leads.
Yeah, this is a group thing, right?
What's a group?
Usually, 5 or 10 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's kind of hard to say. So tell me what you personally, what would make the sale today?
Yeah. Right.
It's harder to do in a group than one-on-one.
How come I've lost my ability to see you. Not that, Huh.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I know you are. No, there's my news feed. I'm so tired of seeing the president's head every time. Well, whatever. Here we are. Back to the meeting. Scott Swim has joined us. Well, Scott, I'm going to promote you to panelist because we didn't have many people today, and I'm going to unmute your. Hi, Scott. George Salmon. It's good to see you.
Hey, George. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a while since we last spoke.
Yes.
So I'm sorry that I didn't notice that you would join the meeting. So
well, I had an appointment and got here late.
No problem whatsoever. Well, I hope you don't mind our candid review of the system. And now I feel bad that I didn't know you were on, and jumped past some of the things that I would have hit on. I'd be glad to kick Mark off the call and go through those with you if you'd like. Or schedule a time for you and I to do it one-on-one.
I'm done, Scott. So you and George can do your thing.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Mark. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
I can't kick you out. Okay, he's gone. Okay, Scott, sorry about that.
No, that's no problem. And I was wondering, well, you two were having a good discussion there, and I always learn from everything.
Well, Mark is a business consultant. He's in the DC market, and he first came. We met when he became a CoreValue customer, and then over time, I've helped him with some large presentations. And using Discover, that's the free initial assessment of company strength and value with groups of CEOs. And he, in fact, has now become faculty on the Build the Thriving Consulting Practice training. And we've become really good friends. I don't know if you were on when we were talking about where our kids are going to college, but he's a great guy and is integrating CoreValue into they have a very sophisticated referral group. It's called the Association for Enterprise Growth. It's more of a collaboration group in the DC and Baltimore markets. And it has attorneys, CPAs, sales and marketing specialists, business consultants, financial advisors. And they wanted to move beyond just referring business owners among themselves to actually working together, working in a coordinated fashion inside those engagements, and they've used CoreValue as the tool around which they organize their work. So it's really cool. Scott, since you and I spoke, what was it, a couple of years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
and I have to be honest with you, I have not used the CoreValue program the way I should be, and that was one of the reasons when I seen this, I thought, this looks like a good webinar that will kind of educate me and maybe bring me back up to speed again with everything. The gal who onboarded me, Sue, I can't think of Sue's last name. Is she still with you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I haven't talked to her in quite a while, but George, I think you have a fantastic program. I guess I'm just having a little bit of trouble figuring out the full system. And that's where I wish I'd have been here. I'd like to seen the first part of what you guys discussed and and that sort of thing. Do you record this by any chance or not?
I do have it recorded, Scott, and what I'd love to do, I mean, the best thing we could do for you is to get you synced up with Sue and the customer success team. I'd be glad to give you an overview. More than happy. But she has a terrific track record. That group has a terrific track record getting people successful, and it's why we're confident saying, "Hey, we promise you're going to win a new engagement."
Well, I maybe I just need to reach out to her, or you might have her reach out to me. Maybe we just need to get back together again and kind of go over some of this. I guess the main thing I'm having trouble with is, I mean, it's a pretty wide, I mean, the program or the process itself is pretty extensive, and there are a lot of, I don't know if I want to call them moving parts, but it's a little more complicated than your typical, value builder, biz equity, that other stuff out there.
Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons we developed the onboarding program, Scott. We recognized it, and what we saw was that the average user was buying a license and was using 1.1 unlock deep dive analysis. They were using Discover pretty well, but they weren't really. And we asked ourselves, and then more importantly, we asked our users, our customers, well, why is that? Why are you not using this with every single one of your clients? And that's what prompted us to do two things. It prompted us to offer the unlimited package because people were saying, well, I'm never sure which client I want to invest the $500 in, which makes sense. And also, I don't, there's so much there. I'm not confident using it. And the onboarding program is designed around giving you the confidence of, what each of the components does for you, and literally coaching you through, okay, you said you were going to meet with Janet. Did you meet with her? Yes. How did it go? What questions, what worked, what didn't work, and how can we help you fit it into your style? Because it's your style that's important.
Okay. Thank you. I think one of the things that I need a better understanding on is the report writing system and how I can get through Discover, no problem. I can get through Deep Dive, no problem. But then how do I take it from there and turn this into, well, number one, how do I take those two steps and create a report that will be adequate to show the client exactly where they're at and what we are doing, but in layman's terms, because I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, the average small business owner out there, and that can be pretty good sized again, but the average business owner out there, I really don't understand a lot of this stuff.
Scott, I couldn't agree with you more. We were talking the other day about somebody brought up, I was with a group of Pinnacle Equity Solutions, and somebody brought up the balance sheet, and I said, wait, let's stop right there. By show of hands, who is absolutely confident that your typical customer, your typical client knows how to read the balance sheet?
Yeah.
There were a couple of hands, but not many, because
that's common.
They don't need to know, right?
Right.
We sit down and tell them, here's how to read the balance sheet, or here's, your inventory. We talk about things that to them are Greek, and I agree with you. Get it in layman's terms and get it because it's the same information. We just need to make it so they understand.
So I guess what I need to get up to speed on and get comfortable with is that point between finishing the deep dive and creating the report and taking them to the next step, which is either a consulting agreement, or in my case, I'm a business broker, so I help people buy and sell businesses. So naturally I have two goals, and one is to create a listing to sell the business, but even more than that, which is where you guys come in, is increasing the value of the business if it's not adequate yet, which is the ongoing consulting, which is perfect for me.
It's interesting.
Not everybody's ready to sell.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going down to the VR business brokers. Do you know Peter King at VR?
No, doesn't ring a bell, but I'm familiar with VR.
Yeah, he just bought it. He's a Canadian. He just bought the franchise, I guess, a couple of years ago. And
Uh-huh.
you're ahead of the curve. He's saying, well, okay, well, we can't just list businesses for what the business owner tells us to list them for. That's not doing them a favor. And there are businesses that they could sell for a lot more money. So selfishly, why wouldn't I help them make that business worth a lot more money?
Right.
And so I think I admire you for doing it. And a lot of business, our doors are not being trampled down by business brokers. Let's just put it that way.
They should be.
They should be. I agree with you, Scott. I agree with you. Everybody wins.
Then again, you have someone like me who I totally get it. I agree with you. I think you have a fantastic program. It's just the implementation part and getting comfortable with it, and that's probably where I'm struggling.
Absolutely, and I'm going to get Sue. I'll have Sue contact you this afternoon, and let's get you the onboarding support you need, and get you up and running.
Yeah, sounds good, because I've just been putting that off and too many irons in the fire, I guess, and
I don't know
I'm narrowing things
about
down.
that.
Yeah, what have you. I recognize and fully admit this is one piece of the puzzle that is a significant part of the entire transaction.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
well, I'll have Sue get hold of you today, Scott.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, that's fantastic. Listen, I'm sorry that I got a little far afield there, but I'm glad that we had this conversation.
Yeah, likewise. And
you can always, I am glad to help at any time. If you can't call the Sue or you want to pick my brain about something, please feel free to call me.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Listen, thank you, sir. You have a great day, and you'll be hearing from Sue this afternoon.
Okay, sounds good. Take care.
Okay, be well. Bye.